There comes a moment, usually in the quiet, when you look around your home and realize it's not just things taking up space, it's layers of time, souvenirs from old routines, piles of maybe I'll use this later, gifts you never really needed but kept out of guilt. At 60 and beyond, the goal shifts. It's no longer about having more, it's about having peace. A home that feels light, breathable, and easy to care for. Not perfect, not bare, but calm. That's what we're creating together today. This isn't about getting rid of what you love. It's about honoring what truly supports your life now in this season. Whether you're downsizing, simplifying, or just craving clarity, this journey will help you find space in your home, and maybe even in your heart. So let's begin. Gently, kindly. One room, one memory, one release at a time. If you've ever looked at your coffee table and thought, how did all this end up here? You're not alone. For many of us, the coffee table slowly becomes a magnet for everything we don't quite know where to put. Yesterday's mail, a magazine someone left open, 3 remote controls, reading glasses, an old coaster, a snack plate we meant to take back to the kitchen but didn't. Bit by bit, it turns from a cozy spot for a cup of tea into a chaotic drop zone, and we hardly notice it happening. But over time, the consequences grow. Not only does it add visual clutter that weighs on the mind, but for those of us in our 60s and beyond, it can become a physical hazard. Navigating around a cluttered coffee table, especially if it has sharp corners or narrow legs, increases the risk of tripping, especially during nighttime walks to the kitchen or bathroom. And bending down repeatedly to reach for things can stress aging joints or unsteady knees. So what's the alternative? Consider switching it out for something softer and smarter, like a cushioned ottoman with built-in storage. It's safer if bumped into, especially with visiting grandkids around. And inside, you can tuck away books, extra blankets, or even those remotes that used to scatter the surface. No clutter, no corners, no stress. You may even find yourself breathing easier without realizing why. So ask yourself, is your coffee table serving your life, or just sitting in the way of it? You don't have to toss it overnight. But maybe it's ready for a well-deserved retirement. Take a walk through your kitchen drawers, not just a glance, but a real look. What do you see? 3 potato mashers, 4 can openers, a drawer that jams because it's stuffed with more wooden spoons than you'll use in a month. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Over the years, duplicates tend to sneak into our kitchens. We buy an extra when we can't find the first. Someone gifts us another at Christmas. We hold on to all of them just in case. But just in case often turns into just taking up space. For those of us over 60, a cluttered kitchen is more than inconvenient. It can become physically tiring and mentally frustrating. Searching through an overcrowded drawer every time you need your favorite spatula can wear on your patience and make simple cooking feel like a chore. And let's be honest, how many of those tools do you actually reach for? Here's a simple way to take control. Pull everything out, lay it on the counter. Then choose the one version of each tool that you actually use, the can opener that works best, the spoon with the perfect grip, the peeler you trust. Set aside the rest. If they still work, consider donating them to a local shelter community kitchen, or even a college student moving into their first apartment. It's not about having less, it's about having what works. A drawer that opens easily, a kitchen that invites you to cook without stress, and a space that makes you feel capable, not crowded. Simplifying your utensils is a small change, but the relief it brings, that's something you'll notice every single day. Word count, 297. We often don't notice how much space something takes up until it becomes a problem. That massive armchair in the corner, the one no one ever sits in, might have felt like a statement piece once. The oversized dresser that's been in your guest room for 20 years, it probably used to serve a purpose. But today, these pieces may be doing more harm than good. When every step around your home requires a shuffle, a turn, or a squeeze, It's time to ask, is this furniture still serving you? As we age, open space isn't just about aesthetics, it's about safety. Maneuvering around bulky items can become exhausting, especially if you rely on a cane walker or simply have limited mobility. It's easy to forget how much energy it takes to sidestep a table or twist past a tight hallway every day. And for those of us living alone, fewer obstacles mean greater independence. You don't need to clear the house to feel a difference. Start with one room. Is there a chair no one ever uses? A table that's more in the way than in use? Removing even one large item can make a space feel twice as open and infinitely more welcoming. If you're unsure what to do with it, consider passing it on to family, donating it to a local charity, or offering it to a young couple furnishing their first home. Giving your furniture a second life brings satisfaction that clutter never can. Your home should support your lifestyle, not restrict it. And sometimes letting go of what's heavy, literally, is the lightest choice you can make. If you've ever tried to dust a shelf full of tiny figurines, snow globes, or decorative plates, each one attached to a memory, you know how quickly sentimental joy turns into maintenance. We collect these items out of love, a trinket from a trip with your spouse, a porcelain angel your granddaughter gave you a souvenir from your honeymoon decades ago. These are not just things, they carry our history. But when there are too many, even the most meaningful objects start to fade into visual noise. Here's something many of us forget. Your memories don't live in that glass dolphin from the Bahamas. They live in you. The story, the smile, the moment, all of it is stored safely in your heart. And you don't need 27 dust-collecting reminders to keep it alive. Try this instead. Choose just a few that still make you smile when you look at them. Display them proudly, maybe on a floating shelf or inside a shadow box. Make them feel special, not buried in clutter. As for the rest, you can take a photo, write a little note about where it came from, and gently let it go. Some pieces might even bring joy to a family member or friend who remembers the same moment. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means making space for peace. A clearer shelf, easier cleaning, and a calmer mind. That's not emptiness, it's clarity. And at this stage of life, clarity is a gift worth keeping. It starts with good intentions. A recipe you meant to try. An article that caught your eye. A health tip you didn't want to forget. So you set the magazine aside, I'll read that later. But later never comes. And before you know it, your coffee table end tables, or even the floor near your favorite chair, is buried under stacks of old papers, all waiting for that perfect moment that never arrives. For many of us, especially after 60, these piles become more than clutter. They become stress, dusty, toppling towers that are harder to clean around, a source of guilt every time you see them. And yes, even a tripping hazard if they're near your walking path. They also serve as a quiet reminder of how quickly time passes, how easily something meant for tomorrow gets buried in some day. Here's a way to gently let go through them with fresh eyes. Keep one or two truly meaningful issues. If you find a recipe or article you love, clip it and place it in a small folder, or better yet, snap a picture with your phone. That way you keep the value, not the clutter. Then recycle the rest. Let your space breathe again. Let your surfaces be surfaces again. You may be surprised how much mental clarity comes with simply clearing out paper that no longer serves you. A clean table doesn't just make the room look better, it makes you feel better, lighter, more in control. And that's a feeling worth making space for. We all have that one drawer, or maybe two, filled with tangled wires, mystery chargers, and cords we can't quite identify. Some are for gadgets we no longer own. Others seem familiar, but we haven't used them in years. Still, we keep them just in case. Just in case that old phone comes back. Just in case we figure out what this plug goes to. But the truth is, that case rarely arrives. For seniors, this kind of clutter isn't just annoying, it can be overwhelming. Trying to sort through a web of cords when you need to charge your tablet or plug in your reading light can be frustrating and even unsafe. And those loose wires under beds or behind furniture. They're not harmless, they're tripping hazards, dust magnets, and fire risks waiting to happen. Here's a gentle solution. Choose one afternoon. Pull out every cord, every charger, every plug. Sort them into 3 piles: what you use regularly, what you recognize but rarely use, and what's a total mystery. Keep the essentials. Label them with masking tape so you're never guessing again. As for the unknowns, let them go. Many communities offer free electronic waste recycling, a responsible way to part with these unused bits without guilt. You can even ask a tech-savvy grandchild or neighbor to help you identify what's worth keeping. The result: a cleaner drawer, a safer home, and less time spent digging for the right cord in a sea of the unnecessary. Life is too short to untangle the same knot twice. Maybe it's a box of yarn you haven't touched in 5 years, or a drawer full of paintbrushes, dried out watercolors, and unopened sketchbooks. Or perhaps it's wood-carving tools tucked neatly in a garage corner waiting for inspiration that no longer comes. These are the quiet remains of hobbies we once loved or thought we would. And now they sit, silent reminders of unfinished projects or interests we've outgrown. As we age, our time and energy become more precious, and carrying the weight of what we're no longer passionate about can create more guilt than joy. Every time you pass that sewing machine or unopened jigsaw puzzle, you might feel a little nudge: I should get back to that. But what if you didn't have to? What if, instead of trying to revive old hobbies out of obligation, you gave yourself permission to release them lovingly, intentionally? Keep the supplies that still excite you, the ones that make you want to sit down and create today, not someday. As for the rest, consider donating them to a local school senior center or community arts group. What no longer sparks joy for you might ignite someone else's passion. Letting go doesn't mean failure. It means you're honoring the seasons of your life. You tried something. Maybe you even loved it once. But now your heart is in a different place, and that's okay. Your home should reflect the life you're living now, not the pressure to finish what no longer fits. Decluttering your hobby supplies might be the most compassionate thing you do for yourself this year. You bought it with good intentions. Maybe it was the waffle maker you thought you'd use every Sunday, or the bread machine you were excited about during that home baking phase. Or perhaps it was the pasta roller ice cream maker or juicer collecting dust on the top shelf. Sound familiar? These gadgets often promise convenience and creativity, but more often than not, they become unused monuments to forgotten plans. After 60 kitchen space is more than a luxury, it's a necessity. When your countertops are cluttered with appliances you rarely use, cooking becomes more stressful than soothing. And heavy, awkward appliances tucked away in cabinets can be difficult and even dangerous to lift, especially if your strength or mobility has changed. So here's a gentle nudge: look at what's really serving you. Do you use that air fryer weekly? Keep it. Is your slow cooker a lifesaver during winter months? Great. But if something's been sitting untouched for a year or more, it may be time to pass it on. Donating rarely used appliances to a local food pantry, church kitchen, or neighbor in need doesn't just clear your space, it puts something useful into the hands of someone who will truly appreciate it. And suddenly, you'll find your kitchen not only feels lighter, but works better. Cooking should be joyful, not crowded. And every time you clear a surface or make a drawer easier to open, you're making room for peace. Not just in your home, but in your daily rhythm. There's something magical about the holiday season: the glow of lights, the sparkle of ornaments, the warmth of special plates set only once a year. But when January comes and goes, what remains? Often it's overstuffed closets, boxes we dread lifting, and bins we haven't opened in years. For many of us after 60, that magic starts to feel like a burden. Holiday items tend to multiply over time. One year's sale becomes the next year's storage problem. And as our traditions evolve or our gatherings grow smaller, we find ourselves keeping more than we actually use. Heavy boxes in the attic garlands tangled in the garage, or themed dinnerware tucked into cabinets we no longer reach into. Let's reframe it. What if your holiday joy didn't depend on quantity but on meaning? Keep the pieces you genuinely love, the ones that bring a smile when you unpack them. A favorite ornament from your childhood. A ceramic Santa passed down through the family. One holiday plate set, not 5. For the rest, consider donating them to shelters, thrift stores, or community centers that decorate for families in need. Someone else's Christmas could be brighter because of your extra string lights or serving tray. Simplifying your seasonal stash means less lifting, less digging, and less stress next year. It also means reclaiming space not just in your closets, but in your life. The holidays are about presence, not possessions. Let your home reflect that. And when December rolls around again, you'll find joy in how easy it is to bring the spirit back without sorting through things that no longer serve you. At some point, we all had one. That big, clunky filing cabinet filled with old tax returns warranties for appliances we no longer own, handwritten recipes and folders labeled with names we don't even recognize anymore. Back then, keeping every document felt responsible. But now, especially after 60, it often feels like clutter wrapped in nostalgia and what-ifs. The problem with paper is that it doesn't scream for attention. It just sits quietly, taking up space, until one day you realize that cabinet hasn't been opened in months, or maybe years. Worse yet, if you needed something important, it might take hours of flipping and frustration to find it. And in emergencies, that's time you don't want to waste. So here's a modern solution with a gentle touch: go digital. Start by scanning essential documents, medical records, property deeds, wills, ID copies, and save them to a secure cloud folder or external hard drive. If technology feels intimidating, this is the perfect chance to involve a grandchild neighbor or tech-savvy friend. They'll help you, and you'll get a chance to bond while learning something new. Once your important papers are safely stored, the rest, outdated receipts, expired warranties, random printouts, can be shredded or recycled. Suddenly, that bulky cabinet becomes unnecessary, freeing up valuable space for a reading chair, a cozy plant corner, or simply more room to move. Letting go of paper doesn't mean letting go of control. In fact, it's the opposite. It means being prepared, protected, and unburdened. And in this stage of life, that kind of peace is priceless. If you've been using the same pots and pans for the last 2 or 3 decades, you're not alone. Many of us grow attached to our cookware, the pan that made Saturday pancakes for the grandkids, the pot that simmered every winter soup. But over time, even the most beloved kitchen tools start to show signs of wear. A warped bottom, a cracked handle, or a non-stick coating that's more stick than non. These aren't just minor inconveniences, they're potential hazards. A scratched non-stick pan, for example, can release chemicals into your food. And an unbalanced or warped pot can tip spill or cook unevenly, turning a simple meal into a safety concern. For seniors especially, we don't need surprises in the kitchen. So here's the question: are your pots helping you, or just hanging on? It might be time to upgrade, not to something fancy, but to something safe. A quality stainless steel pan, a cast iron skillet that will outlive you, or a ceramic-coated pot that cleans easily and cooks evenly. You don't need a whole new set, just a few reliable pieces that support the way you cook now. And don't let the old ones keep taking up cabinet space. Recycle or donate what's still usable. The rest, let it go with gratitude for the meals it served. Cooking should feel nourishing, not stressful. When you choose tools that work with you, not against you, you're making an investment in your well-being, and that's worth every inch of freed-up shelf space. Tucked away in closets, garages, or under the bed are the quiet promises we made to ourselves. The exercise bike we swore we'd use again, the sewing machine waiting for a burst of creative energy, the boxes of tile from a renovation that never happened. We tell ourselves, I might need this someday. But when someday never comes, these items become something else, entirely emotional weight. For many of us, over 60 space is more precious than ever. Not just physical space, but mental space. And someday, items often represent guilt, the silent kind. Guilt for money spent, for hobbies abandoned, for dreams we didn't finish. But let me tell you something gently. It's okay to change. It's okay to let go of who you thought you'd be and embrace who you are today. Here's a simple practice walk through your home and find 3 things you're keeping just in case. Ask yourself, honestly, have I used this in the last year? Does it support my life now? If the answer is no, give yourself permission to part with it. You're not giving up on potential, you're reclaiming peace. You can donate these items to someone who needs them today. A treadmill could go to a single mum trying to stay healthy, craft supplies to a community centre. Letting go becomes easier when we realize it's an act of generosity, not just decluttering. Your home should reflect the life you're living, not the life you've left behind. And by clearing the weight of someday, you're making space for today to feel lighter, freer, and more honest. Open any kitchen cabinet, and you might find a small mountain of plastic cups. Some are from fast food places, others were party favors. A few may have sentimental value, a vacation souvenir, or a school logo from decades ago. They don't seem like much on their own, but together they crowd your shelves and make the kitchen feel more chaotic than it needs to be. As we age, our priorities shift. We want things that are easy to use, easy to clean, and safe for our health. Old plastic cups, especially the ones with faded logos, cracked rims, or mystery stains, don't check any of those boxes. Worse, some older plastics may contain chemicals that aren't considered safe for regular use today. You don't need to throw everything out overnight, but it might be time to upgrade. Choose a few high-quality glass or stainless steel cups that are easy to hold, look elegant on the table, and won't leach chemicals into your drinks. Keep what's functional and durable, let go of what's not. And those plastic ones, they don't have to go straight to the trash. Repurpose them as seed starters for your garden storage for small craft items or rinsing cups in the bathroom. Or better yet, donate the better ones to a local shelter or children's group that might actually need them. Your cabinets deserve to open smoothly. Your shelves deserve to hold what serves you. And your daily routines, even something as simple as getting a glass of water, should feel peaceful, not cluttered. Every small decision like this is a step toward a home that cares for you, not one that competes with your comfort. There's something nostalgic about pulling warm laundry from the dryer, soft, clean clothes with that familiar, fresh scent. For years, dryer sheets have been the go-to for many households, promising static-free fabrics and that just-washed smell. But here's the part we often overlook. Most dryer sheets are soaked in artificial fragrances and chemical softeners that cling to your clothes long after the cycle ends. For seniors especially, these chemicals can do more harm than good. They can irritate sensitive skin, trigger respiratory issues, and leave residue that weakens fabric over time. What feels like a luxury might actually be causing subtle discomfort you've learned to live with. There's a healthier, simpler solution: wool dryer balls. These natural alternatives reduce static, soften fabrics and can be reused hundreds of times. If you miss the scent, just add a few drops of essential oil to the wool. Lavender, lemon, or eucalyptus can add a touch of calm to every load without the toxic side effects. And here's the bonus: no more boxes of dryer sheets taking up space in your laundry cabinet. No more constant repurchasing. No more throwing away sheet after sheet after sheet. It's a small shift that brings peace of mind. Your skin will feel better. Your laundry will last longer. And your home, especially that quiet little laundry nook, will feel just a little more intentional. Simplifying isn't always about removing what's visible. Sometimes it's about letting go of hidden irritants, quiet toxins, or routines that no longer serve your health. You deserve clean clothes without compromise. And this is one easy change that will ripple through your whole home. You bought it because you were ready to move. Maybe it was a resistance band, set a pedal exerciser, or that mini trampoline you saw on TV. At the time, the motivation was real: to stay active, to stay young, to stay in motion. But now those fitness tools are buried behind the door, tucked into closets, or serving as coat racks in the corner. And instead of inspiring movement, they quietly whisper guilt. Here's the truth. Most of us won't say out loud not every season calls for the same kind of fitness. What felt exciting 5 years ago might feel exhausting now. And that's okay. The important thing isn't which tools you use, it's that you feel good moving your body in ways that suit you today. So let's be honest, are those gadgets helping or haunting you? Take a look around. Keep what you actually use. Maybe that's a yoga mat, a pair of hand weights, or a walking stick. If something hasn't been touched in over a year and doesn't feel aligned with how you want to move now, it's okay to let it go. These items can find second life in community centers, senior programs, or with someone just beginning their wellness journey. By sharing them, you're not quitting, you're transforming your space and your mindset. Your home should encourage ease, not obligation. And your health doesn't depend on machines gathering dust. A gentle stretch, a walk through the garden, or dancing in the kitchen can do wonders, and they don't need to be plugged in or stored under the bed. Movement should be joyful, not cluttered. So clear the space and let that joy back in. A home with personality is a beautiful thing. A framed photo here, a ceramic bird there. Maybe a few inspirational signs, decorative jars, or wall art collected over the years. These little touches are meant to reflect who we are, to tell our story. But sometimes in the quiet of a room, those stories start to crowd each other out. When every shelf, wall, and corner is filled, decorations lose their impact. Instead of adding warmth, they begin to add noise, visual busyness that makes it harder to relax, clean, or even think clearly. For those of us over 60, simplicity isn't about being trendy, it's about being able to breathe. So here's a gentle invitation: walk through your home with fresh eyes. Notice which pieces still spark joy, the ones that make you smile, touch your heart, or remind you of something truly meaningful. Keep those. And just those. The rest. It doesn't mean they were a mistake. It means they've served their time. You can pass them on, gift them to family, or donate them to someone who's building their space from scratch. Let them bring joy somewhere new. This isn't about stripping your space bare. It's about creating space for the things that matter to shine. A single vase on a table. One photo that makes you pause. A room that feels calm when you walk into it. You don't have to keep everything to keep your story. Sometimes the quieter your home becomes, the more your spirit can speak. And that, friend, is a kind of beauty that no amount of knickknacks can replace. Tiny soaps, travel-size shampoos, sewing kits, shower caps you never opened. If you've traveled at all over the years, chances are you've brought a few of these home. At the time, they felt useful, too nice to leave behind. A little bonus from your stay. But fast forward to today, and they've likely ended up in drawers, bins, and baskets, forgotten and unused. These items are so small that we hardly notice them building up. But together, they take up precious space in bathrooms and linen closets. And more importantly, they create a sense of low-level chaos, especially when you're searching for the lotion you actually like, and instead find 6 unopened conditioners from 5 different hotel chains. Ask yourself honestly, do I really use these? Do they serve my needs now? Instead of holding on to them just in case, consider repurposing or giving them away. Unused soaps and shampoos can be donated to shelters or hygiene drives. Shower caps, great for covering bowls or shoes when packing a suitcase. Sewing kits can be tucked into your purse glove box or given to a young person moving out on their own. You don't have to keep everything you've collected to hold on to your memories of those trips. The joy of travel lives in your stories, not your soap drawer. Clearing out these small things creates more than physical space. It creates ease, less rummaging, fewer decisions, more peace. And after all these years, you deserve a bathroom that feels like a place of rest, not a storage unit for leftovers. As we near the end of our journey through the home, there's one powerful reminder I want to leave with you. Not everything you let go of needs to be discarded. In fact, some of the most meaningful decluttering happens when we share, not just clean out. Whether it's a set of dishes you no longer use, a chair that doesn't quite fit your space, or a bookshelf full of stories you've already lived through, someone out there could use what you no longer need. After 60, many of us realize we've spent decades gathering. And that's not a bad thing. Those items once served us, supported us, and brought joy. But when they begin to sit untouched, not because they're broken, but because our life has simply moved forward, they become something else, an opportunity to bless someone else. Start with one box, one room, one shelf. As you look at each item, ask, could this serve someone better than it's serving me? Maybe a young couple starting out, a college student on a tight budget, a neighbor down the road. Local shelters, churches, or refugee programs are always in need of donations, especially the kind that come with love behind them. Letting go this way doesn't feel like loss. It feels like legacy. You're not just making space in your home, you're opening space in someone else's life. And in return, your rooms feel lighter, your spirit feels generous, and you walk a little freer, knowing that your things are out there, continuing their story in someone else's hands. Decluttering isn't just about taking away, it's about giving. And few things are more beautiful than that. So here we are, 20 quiet, thoughtful ways to let go of what no longer serves you. Not out of pressure, not to chase perfection, but to make space for what really matters now. After 60, the most valuable things in life aren't things at all. They're peace, clarity, and the ease of moving through your day without tripping over the past, literally or emotionally. Every drawer you've cleared, every item you've passed, on every shelf you've simplified, it's a small act of love for your body, for your future, and for the version of you who deserves to wake up in a home that feels like a sanctuary, not a storage unit. Decluttering isn't about having less. It's about having space for more of what makes life rich, your morning cup of tea by the window, a phone call without visual noise, the quiet joy of walking from room to room with no obstacles in your way. And remember, this isn't a race. You don't have to do it all at once. You can start with a single drawer, a shelf, one object you're finally ready to part with. Each small decision builds momentum. Each cleared space makes room for rest. So take a breath. Walk through your home with fresh eyes. And know that every moment spent releasing clutter is a moment spent reclaiming your life. Thank you for walking this journey with me. If this video brought you comfort, ideas, or encouragement, I hope you'll consider subscribing to our community. We're here for each other, to share, to grow, and to make these golden years feel truly golden. Until next time, take care of your space and let it take care of you.